Hello there, my name is Dr. Robert Ellis. For over 50 years, I have worn this white coat, walking alongside countless souls through the vibrant springs of youth and into the quieter winters of old age. Through every breath, every glance, every silent heartbeat I have witnessed, one truth has become unmistakably clear to me. Longevity is not merely a miracle, but the result of many quiet, often overlooked choices made day after day. The result of many quiet, often overlooked choices made day after day. Today, I would like to sit with you for a moment, as one friend to another, and share with you 8 small yet powerful signs. If you find these qualities alive within you between the ages of 65 and 85, then, according to both science and a lifetime of experience, you may very well be on the path to reaching 100 years with strength and grace. Let's begin this quiet journey together. 1. You feel at peace when you are alone. Over the years, I have come to realize that those who live the longest are not always the most outgoing, nor the ones constantly surrounded by the noise of crowds. No, more often they are the ones who have quietly mastered the art of being alone, without ever feeling lonely. I have seen them. The elderly gentleman sitting silently on his porch, letting the afternoon breeze tousle his thinning hair. The widow tending her garden with a slow, steady hand, humming softly to the rhythm of the earth. They are not isolated, they are anchored. If you find that solitude does not unsettle you, that you are just as content with your own company as you are with others, then take that as a quiet blessing. It means that deep within your heart there is a steady pulse, a rhythm that is not easily swayed by the outside world. In a society that often teaches us to fear silence, to equate stillness with loneliness, finding comfort in your own presence is a profound act of strength. It is a sign that your emotional life has matured, that you have learned to draw peace from within rather than constantly seeking it elsewhere. This kind of emotional self-sufficiency is not born overnight. It is shaped slowly, by hardships weathered, by losses grieved, by joys savored in small, ordinary moments. It is the wisdom of someone who has looked life squarely in the eye and decided to stay rooted in themselves. Research supports what my own heart has seen. Those who are emotionally stable, who do not fear being alone, often have lower stress levels, healthier hearts, and more resilient nervous systems. They are less likely to be swept away by drama, less likely to carry the corrosive burden of chronic loneliness, a burden that, left unchecked, can erode even the strongest bodies. When others are restless or uneasy in the quiet, you feel at ease. When many reach for distractions, the constant buzzing of televisions, the endless scrolling of phones, you may prefer to sit quietly by the window, to listen to the wind, to simply be. That, my friend, is not just a matter of preference. It is a rare and precious skill, a quiet fortress you have built within yourself, one that can carry you far beyond the years that many fear to dream of. If today you find that solitude does not weigh heavily on your shoulders but rather lifts your spirit, then hear this from someone who has watched many lifetimes unfold. Your heart is strong, your spirit is steady, and both are quietly preparing you for a long and beautiful journey still ahead. 2. You wake up without an alarm. One of the more subtle yet remarkable signs of lasting vitality lies in something we often overlook: waking up naturally, without the harsh buzz of an alarm clock. In all my years walking beside patients through the seasons of their lives, I have noticed that those who live longest often rise with the sun. Not because they must, but because their bodies are ready, eager, tuned to a rhythm far older and wiser than any schedule we create. If you find yourself waking gently, stirred not by urgency but by a quiet readiness for the day, then your internal clock, your circadian rhythm, is still strong and steady. This, my friend, is no small matter. It speaks to a deep harmony between your brain, your heart, and your very cells, a silent song they continue to sing in unison, even after decades of wear and change. Most people, as they age, struggle against their own bodies. They push and pull with medications, devices and routines designed to prop up what time has worn down. But those who wake naturally, who find themselves alert as the morning light slips through the curtains, show a different story. Their bodies have not forgotten the ancient conversation between the earth and the human spirit. They are still in step with life's natural dance. It is not merely about waking early, it is about how you feel upon waking. If you rise with clarity, if you feel steady on your feet without the desperate need for caffeine or adrenaline, it is a sign that your nights are restorative, that sleep is still serving its ancient purpose of healing, balancing, and renewing you from within. Throughout my career, I have asked hundreds of my oldest, healthiest patients about their mornings. Their answers were never complicated. I wake when the light changes. I stretch a little, breathe in the morning air, and start my day. Simple, natural rhythms, and therein lies their power. Waking without an alarm is not a trivial habit. It is the body's quiet way of whispering, "I am well, I am in rhythm, I am still strong." And when the body moves in tune with the world around it, when it no longer needs to be jolted into action but rises like a tide with the morning, there is an unmistakable vitality that even the best medicine cannot manufacture. So, if at 65, 75, or even 85, you find yourself waking naturally with the day, take a quiet moment to be grateful. That effortless awakening is not just a small mercy. It is a testament to how wisely you have cared for your life and how ready your life is to continue blessing you with many more mornings yet to come. 3. You forget the small things, but remember the big lessons. In the quiet hallways of life, I have often met those who fret over a misplaced pair of glasses, a forgotten name, or a momentary lapse in conversation. And yet whenever I sat down with the elders who lived well into their 90s, I noticed something extraordinary. Though they sometimes stumbled over a detail, they never lost their grasp on the deeper truths of living. If you find that from time to time you forget where you left your keys, but you can still recall the tender lessons your father taught you or the way your child's hand once fit into yours, take heart. This, my friend, is not a sign of decline. It is a sign of wisdom. You see, the human mind, much like the body, adapts with time. It learns to prioritize, it sheds the trivial and holds fast to the meaningful. Where once your memory was a crowded marketplace bustling with every name, date, and errand, now it has become more like a cathedral, vast, quiet, echoing with the memories that matter most. Science now tells us what my old heart has long known. The selective memory that treasures love, loss, faith, and resilience is not a failing. It is a refining. It shows that your mind has shifted its energy toward preserving the very things that keep a soul alive. Values, wisdom, compassion, and belonging. I remember one dear patient, Margaret, in her early 90s, who could no longer remember where she placed her garden tools, but could recite with crystalline clarity the poem her mother once sang to her during a stormy night. Her body had grown frail, but her spirit was rich, draped in the fabric of memory that truly mattered. If today you sometimes forget a name but can still teach a grandchild how to be kind, how to be strong, how to live with heart, then you are not losing your mind. You are curating a life's museum, keeping only the masterpieces on the walls. And that perhaps is one of the finest treasures aging can offer us. To no longer be weighed down by the noise of life's minor details, but to walk forward with arms full of what truly endures: love, forgiveness, patience, wonder. So when you notice a small forgetfulness creep in, smile gently at it. And when you feel the clarity of life's larger truths rise steady within you, know this: you are carrying the legacy of your life exactly as you were meant to, with grace, with depth, and with a wisdom time cannot steal. 4. You complain less than people half your age. If there is one thing I have learned in my many years of practice, it is this: those who live the longest are not necessarily those who avoided hardship. They are those who learned how to carry hardship lightly. If today you find yourself complaining less about the weather, the aches, the changes of the world, then you are showing a rare and beautiful strength. You are revealing an inner resilience that, though silent, has likely done more to protect your health than any medicine I have ever prescribed. Chronic negativity, the constant grumbling, the endless dissatisfaction, weighs on the body like a heavy cloak. It tenses the muscles, raises blood pressure, taxes the heart, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, wears away the spirit. But those who have lived through storms, real and metaphorical, and still choose to greet the morning with a nod and a quiet thank you, are the ones whose bodies and minds endure. I once cared for a man named Harold, well into his 80s, who had lost much: his hearing, many of his closest friends, even the home he built with his own 2 hands. Yet every morning he would sit outside with a cup of black coffee, watching the sun climb over the hills, and simply murmur, "Another good day." No bitterness, no tallying of losses, just a quiet, steadfast gratitude for the chance to be here, to breathe, to notice, to be. That attitude is not born of naivety. It is forged in the fires of life's trials, refined by the understanding that much of what people complain about is, in the end, fleeting and small. When you have seen what real loss, real sorrow, and real beauty looks like, you no longer waste breath on the trivial. If today you find that you are slower to anger, quicker to smile, and able to shrug off the inconveniences that once seemed to matter so much, then you are practicing a form of emotional discipline that safeguards your heart and nourishes your very cells. And perhaps without even knowing it, you are becoming a wellspring of peace, not only for yourself, but for everyone who has the good fortune to walk alongside you. So if you no longer find it necessary to wrestle with every frustration, if you have learned instead to let the small storms pass while keeping your soul anchored in the calm, then know this: you are living not just longer, but wiser. You are breathing in a kind of serenity that feeds life itself, quietly, steadily, beautifully. 5. You walk more slowly, but with greater awareness. Over the years, I have watched countless patients grow older, and if there is one thing I have learned, it is that quickness is often overrated. In youth, we equate speed with vitality, rushing from place to place, believing that moving fast somehow means living well. But in the quiet wisdom of age, I have seen another truth emerge. Those who live the longest are not necessarily the fastest on their feet. They are those who have learned to walk with intention, with care, with a kind of sacred attention to every step they take. If you have noticed that your steps have become slower but more deliberate, that you move through the world not with haste but with a mindful presence, then you are embodying a form of wisdom that medicine cannot teach. Your body is no longer rushing headlong into accidents or exhaustion. Instead, it is protecting itself with every careful movement. When you slow your pace, when you place each foot thoughtfully upon the ground, you are strengthening the bond between your mind and your body, a bond that safeguards your balance, preserves your strength, and wards off the injuries that too often steal independence from the elderly. I remember an old patient, Mrs. Langford, a petite woman in her late 80s who always took the stairs slowly, one hand gently resting on the rail. Many would have mistaken her carefulness for frailty, but I knew better. I watched the way her eyes scanned her surroundings, the way her weight shifted mindfully with each step. She wasn't just walking, she was listening to her body, to the ground beneath her, to the world around her. That kind of mindful movement is not weakness, it is wisdom in motion. It is the body's quiet way of saying, I intend to be here, steadily, safely, for many more days to come. Mindful walking reflects a deeper clarity as well. It suggests that your brain and body are still communicating clearly, that your nervous system is intact, and that you have cultivated an awareness that protects not just your bones, but your very essence. Those who move deliberately tend to suffer fewer falls, fewer fractures, fewer setbacks. They are less likely to have their lives rerouted by an avoidable misstep, and more likely to maintain the autonomy that brings meaning and dignity to their later years. If today your pace is not as brisk as it once was, but your steps are sure and your movements deliberate, then you are not losing vitality, you are preserving it. You are choosing caution over carelessness, presence over speed, wisdom over recklessness, and every careful step you take is a quiet promise to yourself, a promise to keep living, to keep moving, to keep honoring the life within you with the same steady, faithful attention that life itself deserves. 6. You have outlived some of the doctors who once treated you. There is a quiet, almost startling moment that comes to many who live long enough. The realization that some of the doctors who once cared for them, who once stitched their wounds, prescribed their medicines, listened to their worried hearts, are no longer here. When I first began my career, it was difficult for me to imagine such a thing, but over the decades I have witnessed it time and time again. Patients who had once been considered frail or vulnerable slowly outlasted the very men and women who had been entrusted with their care. And when that happens, it is not merely a curiosity, it is a profound testament to the strength, resilience, and quiet endurance that has carried them across the years. If you have begun to notice that the primary care physician you once visited has since passed away, or that the surgeon who once helped you through a difficult operation is no longer practicing, then take a moment to acknowledge what that means. It means your body has been a faithful companion to you. It means that somewhere along the way, through your choices, your habits, your inner fortitude, you have built a life that continues to move forward, even as time reshapes the world around you. Longevity is never the result of a single action or a single blessing. It is the culmination of 1,000 quiet decisions. The decision to keep moving even when it hurts. The decision to eat simply rather than excessively. The decision to forgive rather than harbor resentment. The decision to stay curious about life rather than retreat from it. I remember a woman named Carol, 84 years old, who once laughed and told me, "I've outlived 3 doctors, 2 dentists, and 1 marriage, and I'm still not done yet." Beneath her humor was a quiet, radiant strength, the kind that cannot be taught, only lived. To outlive your doctors is not about winning a race. It is about perseverance. It is about carrying forward not just a body but a spirit that refuses to give up on the business of living. It is about surviving illnesses, setbacks, surgeries, and heartaches, and still waking up each morning with the simple resolve to greet the day. Many who reach into their 90s and beyond have faced serious illnesses at least once in their lives. The difference is not that they were untouched by suffering. The difference is that they knew deep down how to heal. Not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually as well. So if you find yourself standing today in the quiet space left behind by those who once cared for you, know this: it is not just chance that brought you here. It is a reflection of your resilience, your adaptability, and your commitment to living, even when life asked much of you. And it is a sure and steady sign that you are carrying within you the rare and precious seeds of a life that may yet stretch further and richer than you ever dared to imagine. 7. You eat simply and stop before you are full. Among all the patterns I have observed in those who live long, healthy lives, one of the most quietly powerful is the way they approach food. It is not with excess, nor with obsession, but with a kind of reverent simplicity. A respect for nourishment rather than indulgence. If you find that as you have aged, large, heavy meals no longer call to you, that you naturally prefer lighter, simpler foods and stop eating before feeling stuffed, then you are honoring an ancient wisdom that far too many have forgotten. Those who live into their 90s and beyond are rarely those who ate the richest feasts or chased after the newest dietary fads. More often, they are those who learn to listen to their bodies with quiet patience, eating to sustain life, not to fill an emptiness. It is a subtle instinct, but one with profound consequences. I have seen it again and again. A small bowl of soup, a handful of fresh fruit, a modest plate of rice and vegetables enjoyed slowly, gratefully. These humble meals nourish more than the body. They preserve clarity of mind, steadiness of heart, and resilience of spirit. In the communities around the world where longevity flourishes, places like Okinawa or Sardinia, elders follow a natural rhythm. They eat until they are about 80% full, then they stop. Not because they are dieting, but because they have learned to hear the quiet voice within that says, enough. That simple act gives the body room to rest and repair, rather than burdening it with the constant work of overconsumption. Blood sugar stays more stable, inflammation is kept at bay, and the organs are given the precious gift of ease. If you find yourself now satisfied with smaller portions, if you relish simple foods rather than chasing after rich indulgences, know that this is not merely a change of appetite. It is a sign of wisdom ripening within you. You have tuned yourself back to the natural needs of your body, rather than the artificial hungers so many chase after. You have chosen sustainability over excess, and in doing so you have offered your body the gentle, enduring kind of care that medicine alone cannot replicate. There is a quiet beauty in a meal that nourishes rather than overwhelms, in savoring each bite rather than rushing through it, in finishing a meal feeling light and alive rather than heavy and burdened. These habits, humble as they seem, ripple outward, supporting your heart, your brain, your very ability to move through life with grace and strength. So if you find joy now in a simple bowl of fruit, a warm cup of tea, a modest plate of food eaten slowly and mindfully, then honor that. It is one of the surest signs that you are not just adding years to your life, but life to your years. Gently, wisely, beautifully. 8. You find joy in routine, not just in novelty. In the long arc of life, there comes a moment when excitement no longer comes solely from the new, the fast, the dazzling. Instead, it rises quietly from the familiar, from the simple acts repeated faithfully day after day. If you have discovered a deep sense of contentment in your routines, if watering the garden, preparing your morning tea, or greeting the same familiar faces fills you with peace rather than restlessness, then you are carrying within you one of the most powerful signs of lasting vitality. I have met many souls who chased novelty all their lives, always seeking something louder, faster, newer to fill the emptiness within. But I have also sat beside the truly long-lived, those whose lives stretched into their 10th and 11th decades, and they all shared a quiet secret. They learned to find beauty not in endless change, but in devotion to the everyday. A simple walk at dawn, a favorite chair by the window, a daily letter written to an old friend. These were not seen as tedious repetitions, but as sacred rituals, anchoring them firmly to life itself. Routine is not stagnation. True routine, lovingly chosen and mindfully tended, creates a rhythm that steadies the heart and soothes the mind. It frees the spirit from unnecessary noise, allowing you to focus on what truly matters: gratitude, connection, presence. Studies may show that regular habits strengthen our internal clocks, improve sleep, regulate digestion, and even stabilize mood. But long before science caught up, the elders already knew this truth in their bones. They knew that predictability, far from diminishing life, can in fact deepen it, opening space for reflection, appreciation, and quiet joy. If you find yourself looking forward to your morning walk, your afternoon tea, your evening moments of stillness, it is not because your world has grown small. It is because your heart has grown wise. You have learned that fulfillment is not measured by how many different experiences you can accumulate, but by how deeply you live the experiences you already have. There is a richness that blooms when we stop chasing and start savoring, when the ordinary becomes extraordinary simply because we choose to notice it. So if today you find comfort in your familiar ways, if you feel rooted rather than restless, if you have built a life where small, steady rituals hold great meaning, know this: you have discovered something that many spend a lifetime seeking but never find. You have found belonging not in places or possessions, but within yourself. And it is within that quiet belonging that true longevity flourishes, strong, steady, and full of grace. As we draw this quiet journey to a close, I invite you to take a moment and truly reflect. Perhaps you recognized yourself in one or several of these signs. Perhaps you smiled quietly at a memory stirred, or perhaps you paused, feeling a deep resonance with the life you have built? If so, know this: you are not merely surviving the years, you are thriving within them. The strength that carries a person toward their 100th year is not built overnight. It is the patient accumulation of countless small choices, countless silent victories over fear, bitterness, and despair. It is found in the way you steady your heart when storms rage, in the way you savor a simple meal, in the way you greet the familiar routines of life, not with resignation, but with reverence. You do not need to climb mountains or make grand gestures to prove your vitality. You have already proven it in the way you rise with the sun without needing a summons, in the way you find companionship within yourself, in the way you walk with careful dignity and speak with measured grace. Every quiet step you take, every small act of mindfulness, every moment of patience and resilience weaves itself into the fabric of a life that is not merely long, but deeply lived. And so, if you see these signs within you, hold them close, cherish them. They are the silent markers of a life well tended, of a spirit well weathered, of a soul still burning brightly beneath the soft patina of the years. You are, in so many ways, already on the path to becoming one of the rare few who live not just long, but beautifully, richly, and with profound grace. From one who has spent a lifetime bearing witness to the quiet miracles of endurance, I offer you my deepest respect and a simple wish. May your days ahead be as steady as your heart, as peaceful as your breath, and as enduring as the love you have given and received along the way.